What's up, guys? My name is Brandon. You guys can call me Swifterrs, and welcome back to a brand new Fortnite video here on my channel today. I'm so excited to be bringing you guys 5 things that ruined Fortnite Battle Royale. In today's video, we are going to be taking a closer look at a bunch of items that are currently still in the game, alongside some additional items that were once in Fortnite, however, have since been removed. Regardless, all of the things that we will be taking a look at in today's video, in my personal opinion, may have contributed in some way to potentially ruining Fortnite Battle Royale. Now, before we do get started with today's video, I do want you guys to let me know right now down in the comment section below if there are any things or items currently still in Fortnite that you guys think the developers need to remove. It could be a weapon, a location, or a feature, but what is something that you guys think Epic Games should remove from Fortnite? With all of that out of the way, let's get started with today's video, taking a look at 5 things that may have ruined Fortnite. Alrighty, guys, so to start this list off, the very first thing I think a ton of people could agree with me on being an item that definitely ruined Fortnite Battle Royale for a temporary amount of time is the jetpack. Now, for those of you who don't remember, the jetpack is an item that came to Fortnite back in the 4.2 content update. Currently, we are on patch volume 5.0, the content update of 5.0, so about 8 or 9 patch updates ago, the jetpack was introduced into Fortnite Battle Royale. Now, for those of you who may not remember, this was actually an item that was leaked in the game files back in the 3.4 patch update, and was actually confirmed by the developers to be coming to the game as early as the 3.2 patch update. Now, the reason why the jetpack was added into Fortnite in the 4.2 patch update is due to the fact that there was some sort of design change or a design issue with the jetpack, and because of that, it did not allow the developers to actually add the jetpack into Fortnite. Eventually, we did receive the jetpack in the 4.2 content update, and a lot of people, including myself, were actually super excited and pumped that this new item was in Fortnite. Now, the jetpack, in my opinion, is sort of a double-edged sword. On one hand, the jetpack was such a cool, creative, and innovative addition into Fortnite Battle Royale. It caused your playstyle to change completely, as it added a whole new element of gameplay due to the fact that if you're using the jetpack, you could literally fly. You can go from point A to point B by flying it through the air, and it was a super cool addition, and I really enjoyed using it. At the same time, it is also a very bad item if you guys are fighting against someone that has the jetpack. It was super unfair if you got into a build fight with someone using the jetpack, because you could try to outbuild them as best as you could. You could even be one of the most skilled builders in the game, and a person with the jetpack will always be above you. They will continuously hover, going higher and higher, and even if you tried to shoot their build out from under them, they would just use the jetpack to slowly fall down to the ground, and they wouldn't take any damage. So, on one hand, the jetpack was really cool and creative. It was a ton of fun to use, and I think that that's why a ton of people liked it when it was first announced. They were eager for it to officially come to Fortnite, and once they had used it for a while, they really enjoyed it. And over time, as more people started to use the jetpack, and as those people who once liked the jetpack encountered people with a jetpack while they didn't have one, people slowly started to turn against the jetpack, and a lot of people found it to be a pretty unfair addition to Fortnite. The good thing is, when the developers announced that the jetpack was going to be coming to Fortnite, they made sure to make it clear that the jetpack was only going to be a limited time item, or an item that was only going to be in Fortnite for a short duration. Obviously, when the jetpack came, it wasn't in the game for a very long time, but I know a ton of people were patiently waiting for that day until the jetpack was finally removed from Fortnite, just because it created such an unfair advantage, and if it stayed in the game for any longer, it definitely had the potential to ruin Fortnite. Moving on to the next thing I think has definitely ruined Fortnite Battle Royale. This is something I think a lot of other people could agree with me on, and it's actually something which is currently still in Fortnite, and this is in regard to llamas giving you guys less materials than they used to. For those of you who probably remember, when llamas were first introduced into Fortnite Battle Royale, they gave you a total of 1,500 materials. 500 wood, 500 brick, and 500 steel. Now, in the very first week of June, the developers decided to nerf the amount of materials that a llama gave you as soon as you found one. Instead of llamas giving you a total of 1,500 materials, they reduced it drastically, and now llamas only give you 600. 200 wood, 200 brick, and 200 steel. Now, first and foremost, a llama is one of the rarest items that you can find in Fortnite. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that there are only a total of 3 llamas in an entire Fortnite match. In the entire Fortnite map, there are only 3 freaking llamas. So, I don't know if the developers increased how many llamas are spawning, and now that they have reduced the amount of materials that they drop, I don't know if it's continuing to be 3, but from my understanding, there are only 3 llamas in a single game of Fortnite. So already, a llama is extremely difficult to find. So I don't know about you guys, but I honestly think that 1500 materials, 500 of each mat, is a perfect amount of materials to give someone if they find a llama. Granted, it's extremely hard. Not only that, the fact that they reduced the llama material drop down to 600 or 200 from each material is just ridiculous, just because the llamas are so ridiculously hard to find, and in order to get 200 wood, it could take me probably 30 seconds. I could do this on my own without finding a llama. If I wanted to, I can also get 200 brick in roughly 30 seconds if I'm at an area that has a ton of stone. Steel may be a little bit harder. At the same time, you could probably do it in upwards of 3 to 4 minutes. It's just crazy that in probably a maximum of 4 to 5 minutes, you guys can get as many materials as you would. So if you found a llama right now, and 600 materials really isn't all that much. So I don't know about you guys, but I honestly think that the developers have significantly damaged Fortnite Battle Royale by adding llamas that only drop 200 of each material. Moving on to another thing that I personally think has ruined Fortnite Battle Royale. Lucky for us, this is something which has since been removed from the game. Here we have a specific weapon. This is the guided missile. Now, I honestly don't exactly remember when the guided missile came to Fortnite Battle Royale. All that I know is I believe it was leaked in the 3.4 patch update. Now, when the guided missile was first announced, I thought it was a super cool addition to Fortnite. I had a ton of fun using it. It was always so fun using this weapon, especially if you were playing squads and 2 or 3 people on your team had guided missiles. They were constantly bombarding enemies with these guided missiles. Unfortunately, that same thing could happen on the flip side. There were countless times where I was on the other end of an enemy team shooting upwards of 3 different guided missiles at me, and in that case, it's a little bit difficult to counter 3 different guided missiles. It's a lot easier to just counter 1. So in that sense, the guided missile was very overpowered, and for that reason, a lot of people really did not like it, and because of that, the developers have obviously since removed the guided missile from Fortnite Battle Royale. But of course, this is definitely an item a lot of people really did not like, and because of that, I definitely think that it had the potential to ruin Fortnite. So moving on to the next thing, which I personally think has ruined Fortnite Battle Royale, or has the great potential to ruin Fortnite. This is something which is actually currently still in Fortnite, and I honestly think it will be here for a very long time. Now, I really don't know what to call this. It could potentially be called a mindset that Epic Games has, but this is in regard to the fact that Epic Games is slowly starting to cater to the slower paced players and the slower paced playstyle of Fortnite. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Fortnite first came out, everyone sort of had the exact same cautious playstyle. As people started to get more comfortable with playing Fortnite, they really started to build crazy structures. They got into crazy build fights, and I think that that is the main point of Fortnite. The game is called Fortnite. You're supposed to build forts. Building is a huge and major component of Fortnite Battle Royale, and I honestly think that over these past couple of weeks, Epic Games has slowly started to roll out patch updates over these past few weeks that are definitely catering to more beginner players with a slower playstyle. In doing so, they make it a lot slower when it comes to switching in between weapons, whether that's in between 2 different shotguns or in between explosives. Regardless, as I said, over these past few weeks, Epic Games has slowly catered to the more beginner type of player, and personally, I do think that Fortnite is a fast-paced game, and it should stay that way, and by catering to the beginner slow-paced players, Epic Games definitely has the potential to ruin Fortnite. Moving on to the 5th and final thing that I personally think ruined Fortnite Battle Royale. Luckily, this is another item which has since been removed, and I think a lot of people may actually disagree with me on this item, but this is the Hop Rocks. Hop Rocks first came to Fortnite with the 4.0 patch update, or the update that introduced Season 4 here in the game. Of course, Hop Rocks have since been removed with the 5.0 patch update, or the update that brought us Season 5. Now, when Hop Rocks were first introduced, they were a a super cool and creative, innovative idea. I enjoyed using them. They were super helpful, especially if you were trying to make your way into the storm eye without being caught in the storm. They were really helpful. You could travel far distances. However, like the jetpack, the hop rocks definitely created a pretty unfair advantage if you got into a build fight with someone using the hop rocks. Personally, I enjoyed using them, but at the same time, I did find them to be a little bit unfair if I was using them against someone that didn't have them, or if someone was using them against me. Regardless, in my opinion, the hop rocks definitely had the potential to ruin Fortnite Battle Royale if they stayed in the game. Regardless, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to drop a like down below, subscribe if you're new. With all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be sure to catch you guys later.